But people were driving around the building looking for us because Jay promised the check was in the mail and it wasn't.
Damn.
You know, I'd go out there and have a conversation with a dude with a shotgun in his lap, and Jimmy Iovine caught Jay with his hand in the cookie jar, and it was over like that. I was enamored by tech, and it was my job to bring him to the world. And that next morning, he calls me and says, "Check your bank account." And I go check my bank account. He deposited $1 million into my account.
Wow.
No paperwork, no contract.
And who did this again?
Mark Saram.
Okay.
Just shot $1 million into my account and said, "Go do what you got to do with Tech-9."
He was like a white Suge Knight. Would you say that? Would that be your?
To a degree, you know, he's a fan of fear as part of his management style.
I'm home court, standing trial.
Coming from Priority, you say you didn't have a plan, you just left, but then you find yourself at Jcor at that point.
I took a break and was mad at everything because, you know, when you have such great success and end on such a shitty note, like, what'd you do it for?
Right.
You know, like, and what's next if that sucked? As great as it was, right? Oxymorons on everything.
Right.
So a guy named Dan Gill, who's over at BMG now, he called me up and said that the owner, it was Jcor informed it was still Mammoth Records. So a guy named Jay Ferris, who owned Mammoth Records, which was like an eclectic, Squirrel Nut Zippers, a lot of big band shit. He sold to Disney for $25 million.
Okay.
And in his in the sale, he was allowed to stay in the music business, but not what genre he was in.
Non-compete.
So he wanted to go urban.
Right.
So I was taking a break, and I got the call to meet him at the Chateau Marmont and help him build Jcor, which is where
Is that where you came into the know of Strange?
Yeah, that's where. So we were setting up shop over there, and Violet Brown sent me Angelic as a demo.
Right.
And I'd heard Tech before, but it didn't connect because I heard him through The Regime, Wake Up Show Anthem. Yeah, exactly. So,
but when you came across
incredible album,
when you came across with Jcor, it wasn't yet Strange. It was just Tech-9ne as an artist, correct?
No, it was Strange. Yeah, okay. It was Travis who I met first before I met Tech. And Travis was financing. You know, Travis was doing. He was already self-made in furniture and sod, and then he went into clothing. I think it was called Paradise Clothing.
Yes.
And you probably know the gear.
I remember. Yeah.
And so he wanted local hometown heroes to rep his gear, and he was a big fan of Tech, and he couldn't understand why Tech hadn't gone further in his career. And so he sat down with Tech and said, one, you know, can you rep my shit?
Right.
Two, what's up? Like, why are you? And, you know, he explained how he's with Perspective with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and that folded, and then signed to Quest and Quincy, and that folded, and at that time that Travis met him, he was being managed by Sway and King Tech, and who, you know, who's all family, and then he had some, you know, some of the neighborhood dudes had their hands in, and
those were my guys. That was the Diamond Shields, rest in peace.
So Travis got in there and started unwinding those deals. And at first, I believe he walked away like, "Yo, your shit is a mess. You got too many hands in your situation." But he couldn't. We all got. I use the word infected. Like once he became like a Tech-9ne fan back then, it's like all you could see, hear, listen to.
Wow.
For the people that were in it. You know, myself included.
Yeah. Did Travis have experience in the music business prior to that?
Nothing.
Oh, wow.
No, so I pretty much brought him in, and opened the Rolodex, and you know, and he's an incredible businessman, very intelligent human being that got it quickly, and was definitely the right kind of individual to be able to manage the industry. You know,
what happened with Jcor? Because it seemed like it was short lived.
Yeah, that's another story, right?
Because I think Jcor was like poised to kind of be some big shit.
Yeah, we were on our way,
right?
And I mean, my story is going to be different than anyone else's, and I'll probably say too much. But the owner lost his way. He had a health issue that came up. and it distracted him, and he ended up on, you know, on pills, and he went from someone that really impressed me to someone that just shit the bed, to put it nicely.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm all about, and you know, I mean, I wouldn't be alive if I wasn't about my word. And if I tell somebody something's happening, it's happening.
Right.
And I explained that when I took on this role for him. Like, look, man, when we say we're going to do something, it's got to be done. You know, you're going to have a problem with me if all of a sudden you're fucking around with people's money, and so that started happening. And he started doing shit behind my back, and I pulled the plug. I shut down the West. We were in Ice-T's office on Highland and or on La Brea and Hollywood Boulevard. Ice-T had
where you had Coroner, I think it was.
Yeah, and it had the red crushed velvet walls, and so I was friends with him and Darlene, and he wanted to sublet it, so it worked out perfect for us.
Nice.
But people were driving around the building looking for us because Jay promised the check was in the mail, and it wasn't. And,
damn.
You know, I'd go out there and have a conversation with a dude and a shotgun in his lap, and you know, and let him know, no, you're the wrong. Let me give you the address in New York where the problem's at, because we ain't it. You know,
right.
So it was unfortunate. And then on top of that, what really killed it was back then you could, when you did a deal with Interscope, which is who Jcor was through. It was based on shipping numbers. So you might have a contract that says you'll get another $500,000 when you ship 500,000 units or hit this milestone in sales.
Right.
And so some games were played in regards to that to access more money. And Jimmy Iovine caught Jay with his hand in the cookie jar, and it was over like that.
So we're doing it like that though with the shipping. Who bites it for the returns?
It's all part of the scandalous process, man.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah,
just because you ship
gotta make
don't mean that you sell that.
Yeah, well, you try to do it on an artist that over time would sell through that quantity.
Oh, I see.
So if you knew that someone was going to sell 300,000, but it might take 3 years.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? You might only need 100.
Okay.
If you ship that extra 200, take it back, and then just kind of sell it over the next couple of years, you know, so you get your money back.
Got you.
But then you get the capital you need to keep building.
Right.
So
I'm assuming, and this is probably a dumb question, but back then they didn't have to front the money for manufacturing. There were credit lines and different things like that.
That's right. That's right. I mean, depends on who you were, but if you were established. And a lot of it had to do with what I said earlier about having your money guaranteed, your receivables guaranteed.
Right.
Because there was plenty of concern of retail going belly up.
Yes.
And you know, that could be the end of your business, but if your receivables were guaranteed, you were golden, unscathed.
So once Jcor goes belly up, did you guys ever release anything under Jcor?
Oh, what you mean during the time?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we put out some Lynch and SIBO. We put out 8 Ball and MJG. We put out
That's right.
Put out Angelic. Trying to think what other. Oh shit, we put out Jay Dilla's how am I spacing on Slum Village. We signed a label called Good Vibe, who had Mystic. You know, went on to be Grammy nominated. So yeah, we had a lot of a nice diverse. It was a really nice diverse record company. It's a shame it went the way it went.
Wow.
You know?
So at that point, it goes belly up. So now, how do you wind up with Strange?
So at this point, as I said, I was enamored by tech.
Yeah.
And it was my job to bring him to the world. Like that's literally what it felt like to me. And my staff. So when that ended, once again, crushed. Fuck, we had something great going, and it's gone. So Mark, the owner of Priority, who was recovering from the stroke, calls me up right after Jcor ends and says, "What are you excited about?" I said, "I'm excited about this artist N9ne that." We just got released from Interscope because of some shenanigans and trying to figure out what to do with them. And he's like, "How excited are you?" And I'm like, "I couldn't be more excited. This the one. Like, he's the talent that, you know, I really want to work with." And that next morning, he calls me and says, "Check your bank account." And I go check my bank account. He deposited $1 million into my account.
Wow.
No paperwork, no contract.
And who did this again?
Mark Cerami.
Okay.
Just shot $1 million into my account and said, go do what you got to do with N9ne. He was under a non-compete with Capital. So he couldn't do that on his own.
Got you.
So, so that's what financed Absolute Power. So we did that all completely on our own, just me and a few people and $1 million.
Okay, so you put the sole investment into Absolute Power?
Yeah, that $1 million that got sent over was used for everything that we did with Absolute Power.
Oh wow!
And that financed, and then eventually, when Mark's non-compete ended, then he partnered up with Strange.
Okay,
and it was a joint venture between MSC. Music and Entertainment and Strange Music.
Okay. But you being the kind of more or less the primary financier.
Well, representing the financier.
Okay, I got you.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't my bread.
I follow.
Yeah. So,
okay,
but
I got you. Okay.
So yeah, that's how. And
so that's how you got the position of vice president for Strange.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Then after that, I got fed up with everything in the industry. I just kind of burned out and moved to Hawaii for 5 years.
Okay.
And while I was in Hawaii in Kona, I stayed on consulting, stayed on with Strange, stayed on through Eveready and Killer and all the rest of the releases. Introduced them to my network and helped get distribution through Fontana at the time.
Right.
Ron Spalding at the time.
Yep.
And then when I came back in 2009, like Travis had gotten to the point where he needed help.
Okay.
And Travis doesn't trust too many people. And I was one of the few that actually had real industry DNA, not a Kansas City, learning on the job kind of thing, but actually knew the right people and players. So, so he said, when you can show and prove you're on the ground in LA, like you're not just visiting, but I want to see the container.
Yeah.
I want to see your shit. I want to see a house you bought. I want to see you're here. Then I need you. And so in 2009, that's when I stepped in officially as, I guess VP or general manager or whatever my title was.
Okay.
But
and what's it like working with Travis?
I mean, I learned a lot from Travis, it evolved over the years.
I was about to say, so you end up learning from him.
In different ways. He learned a lot from me. He's an incredible businessman. He's a very smart individual. And I learned a lot from him. He learned a lot from me about the industry. And we were a good partnership for a lot of years.
Okay.
And it worked well for many years.
And I know Travis loosely. I mean, we've talked, we've been around each other. I could say we're cool, we're cordial. You hear different things about Travis. Some people would say that he runs Strange like Suge. He's like a white Suge Knight. Would you say that? Would that be your?
To a degree, he's a fan of fear as part of his management style. He didn't keep it quiet and mellow when he was upset about something. He was very vocal. So,
but
I wouldn't go as far.
That would scare someone though, because I mean, one thing about Suge, and I'm not trying to shit on Trav, but Suge had the goons, and Suge was, himself. He would carry it out. He would do his thing. But I'm saying, I guess I don't know Trav like that. So where would the fear come from? I mean,
he would hire the people that would respect him through fear.
Okay. I see.
There was only a few people that wouldn't react to that. And they were usually the real industry folks, the ones who've already been through the ringer,
right?
Like, all right, come on, man. But the Kansas City folk, and I know Kansas City's no joke, obviously, but at that level on the industry side,
I got you.
He was the heavy.
I got you.
He was the heavy. So he ruled with. It was his house. It was very, have you been in the building?
Yes, I have.
All right, so you've seen what that means to him.
Man, it's dope.
I mean, we could lick any corner in that
I am
office.
super
cleaner than
I
the
say
plates
this
in my
all
house,
the time,
man.
I say this all the time. I'm super proud of Tech and what Travis has done with Strange, especially there from my hometown, from my city.
Yeah.
They're the first to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and when I went to Strange, I was like, God damn, they got a real compound. They're really doing business here.
What year did you go? Do you remember?
Yeah, just about 7 months ago.
Okay, so you saw all 5 buildings?
No, I didn't know there were 5 buildings.
You only went to the
I
headquarters?
went to the headquarters where the car wash is.
Yeah.
I saw the sound stage, but I haven't been.
You didn't go to the studios or sound stage? Or?
No. I was impressed just seeing the where the cars were and the merch shit and all of that. I didn't go to all of that. I didn't know that was there.
The other building across the way was the studio and the sound stage.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, listen, kudos to them dudes.
No,
I mean, Travis has done he's done really, really well.
He's impressive business, man.
Yeah.
He killed the game in real estate and then made himself the tenant, essentially. Buy up everything on the block and set up shop, cut the middleman out.
Yeah.
I remember when you guys opened the Hollywood Highland location.
Yes.
I went to whatever that record release was that time.
Which one?
I'm really good friends with Chris. Chris is like a great friend of mine.
Right on. Love Chris.
But it was him and Chris and Tech performed that night.
Okay.
So I forget what performance that was.
Then we probably said what's up that night.
Probably, yeah.
What was it like working with Tech?
On what level?
In terms of him as an artist.
I mean,
being a fan,
all
but
artists,
now
artists.
Yeah.
Like dude's really I mean, I don't think he drove until he was 40-something.
This is true.
And might not still have a license. I don't know. All artists. Like just, you know, I've worked with a lot of talent in my career, and I think he's like the biggest artist.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of how his brain works and what side of the brain is engaged. And I mean, he's an amazing individual.
I'm home court, standing trial. Why ain't I see you round back when I was down? Karma's on the way. What goes around comes around. Karma's on the way. There's nothing you could do now. You gotta pay.